these are Warhammer 40,000 3rd edition codexes, and I'm pairing them with the 4th edition Warhammer 40k rulebook. My plan is to pick up 40k again for fun to try and answer one question. So the question is 4th edition the best edition of Warhammer 40,000? Welcome back to JD and the Sumpsea. I'm Jay, and today I want to find out if Warhammer 40,000 4th edition is the best edition of Warhammer 40,000. And if you enjoy out-of-production miniature wargaming rules and existential rhetorical questions about those rules, then make sure you bust out your Warhammer and smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of our videos. Now, back to Warhammer 40,000 4th edition. Well, I have a stack of books here. I've got some white dwarfs that talk about 4th edition, and I've got some of the codexes here from 3rd edition, from 3.5 edition, the chapter approved, and the main rulebook. So, what I'm hoping to find out is by playing some 4th edition again, since I haven't played it in a very long time, to see if it really was as fun as I remember it. I'll be playing Chaos Space Marines. Thought I'd look at some of the rules. So what's amazing about 4th edition is how much they packed into these codexes. Look at how thin this codex is, and yet, if we look inside it, the table of contents shows the rules, the armory, war gear, the army list, the books of chaos, so you'll see all the legions, and then there's books for each god. That's all you need to play Chaos Space Marines. This book has not only included demon weapons, look at the armory. The amount of options on the armory is crazy. You've got the army list, which includes demons. There's no need to break demons out into a separate book. You have them all right here. You've got your troops or Chaos Marines, and they simply modify them depending on the type of cult troop that you're using. Khorne Berserkers, Noise Marines, Plague Marines, or Thousand Suns. You've got demon packs and nerdlings. I mean, you have everything you need in here. You've got special characters. And then you have the legions in 40k and how to play them. It's really that simple. This book has everything you need. There's the Book of Nurgle, Typhus, there's the Book of Slaanesh, etc. It's really all you need to play, and in the back there's even full color. Give you a little bit of tactics, how to grow the army, some examples of paint jobs and paint schemes for different legions. And a little map of the system. So, and some conversions also to get you interested in trying some conversions of your own. So, anyway, this book has everything you need to play Chaos Space Marines in 40k. The main rule book here, I'm not just talking about the Chaos Space Marine Codex, I wanted to talk about the main rule book also. The main rule book has everything including Kill Team. If you want to play Kill Team, all you need is this one book. But it has everything in here for shooting, movement, assault, morale, universal special rules. Yeah, that's right. If your unit has a universal special rule, you look at the main rule book. You don't have to ask your opponent, what does that rule mean? Come to find out, it's exactly the same as a different rule in a different book with a different name. In here, all the rules are the same across armies. You just need to know what, say, for example, Furious Charge does, and any unit with Furious Charge in any army, you know what it does. They also have battle missions and special missions, so there's multiple missions in here. There's fortifications, there's breakthrough, there's 12 different missions in the main rulebook. The rules in here are very simple too, compared to things that would come later. It's a very simple way to play the game. For the most part, you have unit types that dictate how the unit moves. You have your characteristics, which are very similar to ones you see today. The turn sequence is movement, shooting, and assault. That's all there is. How do psychic powers work, you ask? Well, psychic powers are used in the phase that they say they're used in. So psychic powers have in their description the phase that they're used in, and you just look at that, and that's how you do it. You then make a leadership check with the psyker that's casting the power, and if you pass the check, the psychic power happens, as described in what the psychic power does. So it's very simple with how the psychic powers work. There's no separate phase, there's no power dice, there's nothing like that. So everything boils down to what unit type is it, that tells you how it can move and shoot, and if you know what universal special rules it has, you look in here to find out what those mean. So everything is consolidated in the main rule book as opposed to dispersed amongst the codexes for all the basic rules of the game. Then you have the damage roll chart. So you have the glancing chart, the penetrating chart, and the ordnance penetrating chart. Most of the time you're going to be looking at glancing and penetrating. For a glance, you roll the strength of the gun plus a d6, and if the roll of that d6 plus the strength of the gun that's hitting the vehicle equals the armor value of the side of the vehicle that you're shooting at, then you roll on the glancing chart and see what happens. If it is the strength plus the d6 roll beats the armor value, you roll on the penetrating chart because you've then penetrated the vehicle, and you get to see what happens at that point. Of course, on a 4 through 6, you see that the vehicle is destroyed, and only on a 6 on the glance would you destroy a vehicle. There are no hull points. Vehicles do not have wounds, not in 4th edition. And then there was Combat Patrol. Combat Patrol was a 400-point army. Play a simple Combat Patrol mission. Very easy, very quick, very fun way to play 40k in a minute. You know, I think they had 40k in an hour or something like that. It was called. I can't remember what it was called. But they'd play it on lunchtime. That was the whole idea, is that you could sit down and play a game of 40k at lunch, and that was what the patrol mission was about. Then there's Kill Team, the very first Kill Team rules. The idea was, you know, have a little squad of guys. Each one is its own, you know, its own character, and they do their own thing. And you play, you know, it's basically Kill Team of today. It's a skirmish 40k game. And it was all right here in the 4th edition rulebook. Don't need to buy a separate rulebook. They didn't sell units just for Kill Team. They didn't have units specifically for Kill Team. You built your own Kill Team from the rules here. And so they were very flexible in the way you could build them, and they encouraged you in here, as you can see, to convert up a bunch of models. Look at these guys, their conversions. Those are like Empire from Fantasy Battle arms. I mean, just a great way to play a game of 40k quickly. Look at these mutated guys, they were great. But that's a really cool Kill Team, Chaos Kill Team. So yeah, they have the missions in Kill Team, all sorts of stuff. There's a specialist kit you can buy for your Kill Team. All sorts of things. There's a bunch of really cool tables in here too. I love looking at the terrain in these old books. They're so cool. Look at how cool that is. And the colors used. The colors, like giant mushrooms on this piece of terrain. How cool is that? So anyway, yeah, I wanted to just show you, this is the 4th edition rulebook. In the back, they give you the templates. You don't even have to buy templates. You just get them in the book. And you've got a quick reference sheet as well. This is a great quick reference sheet that I believe you could get a cardboard version of this, double-sided at one point. I don't know if I have one, but this one is really cool. You could always scan it and then print it out, which I probably will do at some point. I probably should have done it today, because in just a few minutes, they even have an index. Isn't that crazy? Because in just a little bit, I'm actually going to be heading to the game store. I'm going to head down to Old Guard Games. Make sure you check out Old Guard Games if you're in the Milwaukee area. I'll put a link in the description below. But yeah, I'm going to be heading down to the game store in just a little bit this afternoon here, and we're going to play some 40k 4th edition. I'm really looking forward to that. I'll be playing my Iron Warriors, and I think I'll be playing against Guard and Witch Hunters, so that should be really interesting. Get some pictures of the game and add it into the video. Talk to you after the game. So this was the army I wanted to take. It is what my typical 4th edition through 6th or 7th edition 40k army looked like. We had decided before the game, however, to play a much smaller point size total than what this army would have costed. 700 points was what we agreed on, so I went about writing up an army using the Codex, a spiral notebook, and a mechanical pencil like I used to do. The army ended up with a 10-man Marine squad with a missile launcher, plasma gun, and a champion with a power fist and combi melta, and melta bombs, and everyone in the squad had a Mark of Chaos Undivided. They took a Rhino with extra armor, smoke launchers, and a Havoc missile launcher as a dedicated transport. The second Marine squad was only 5 total Marines, one with a flamer, one with an autocannon, and a champion with a combi flamer, a power fist, and melta bombs. And all of them again had the Mark of Chaos Undivided. They were also riding in a Rhino with extra armor, smoke launchers, and a Havoc missile launcher. My Chaos Lord had a Dark Blade demon weapon, which was mastercrafted. He had spiky bits, furious charge, frag grenades, Mark of Chaos Undivided, demonic armor, demonic aura, demonic mutation, bionics, and melta bombs. We ended up playing a 3-way game where the goal was just to kind of get used to the rules again. I played against my partner's Emperor's Children army and my friend Robbie's Witch Hunter army. They both deployed in corners and I deployed in the center of the opposite board edge, which was typical when we used to play 3-way games back when 4th edition was new. As the game went on, we found out various things I had forgotten about. One of them being that if a vehicle took a penetrating hit, all of the passengers had to disembark and take a pin check. Another rule was that if you don't have a weapon strong enough to hurt a walker vehicle in close combat, you're basically attached to that walker until it kills off your squad, especially true if you are fearless. The only other way to get away would be to have a turn where you lost combat, failed your leadership check, and ran away. And then did not get run down by the walker, of course. We refreshed our memories about how ordnance weapons roll 2d6 and pick the higher when rolling armor penetration, which makes them very good against vehicles. I actually remembered most of the basic 40k 4th edition rules also. I did a brief refresher before the game, and then I was able to just remember most of the rules as we played. So, what did I think of 40k 4th edition 20 years after it was released? Well, it was quite fun. There were, of course, a few quirks that I had forgotten about, and these quirks were just little parts of the rules that they updated in future editions. The rules, however, ended up being simple and intuitive, at least I thought so. Another interesting thing about 4th edition is the amount of inches you move is based on the type of unit you are. So infantry moves 6 inches, most vehicles move 12, etc. And the way that various ranged weapons work is based on the weapon type. If they're a rapid-fire weapon, they're different than a pistol or a heavy weapon, for example. The ranges of all the weapons are very uniform, being 12, 24, 36, or 48. And then, of course, the universal special rules, which all are located in the main rulebook, not in the codexes. The codexes simply refer to them in the unit entries. By standardizing all of these things, it makes for a game that's very easy to memorize. Usually by just looking at a unit from across the table, you can kind of figure out what they do, how they function, how far they can shoot, how far they can move, etc. It's a very intuitive way of playing the war game and allows you to understand your opponent's army before you even start playing, which I appreciate. And also, I have to admit as well, of course, we were playing with 3.5 edition codexes in 4th edition, which would have been accurate when 4th edition originally came out, because the 4th edition codexes were not released immediately upon the edition release. So the 3.5 codexes would still be legal to use, at least within the first, month or 2 or 3. So this was definitely a time period when these codexes were used with this main rule set. So is 40k 4th edition the best edition of Warhammer 40,000? Well, I think the jury is still out on that. I need to play more games, and we need to try more armies. And I am having a blast revisiting this edition, and if anybody asked me which edition of 40k to play, I probably would say 4th edition with the 3.5 edition codexes. So next time we play, we were talking about playing some scenarios from the Codex City Fight book, which is a great expansion to 40k from back in that era. It gives you new scenarios and new rules for playing games in ruined cities, and I remember it adding a lot to our experience back in the day. I'll let you know how those games go when we play them. But that's all I've got for you this time. And as always, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.